What's up, Taiwan? Good morning. I'm Erika Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan plans to hold its annual Wan'an air defense drill from July 25th to 28th. As usual, people will receive mock emergency texts. Public transport will run normally, people will have to stay indoors, and cars will have to pull over to the side of the road for half an hour from 1:30 to 2 p.m. But this year, officials are starting a pilot program in 3 neighborhoods that will bring extra rules. When the sirens go off in these areas, drivers will have to leave their vehicles. They and anyone else on the streets will then have to go to an air raid shelter. Police officers will guide people to the nearest shelter or safe building. This week, Taiwan's Vice President William Lai became the highest-level government official to visit Japan in 50 years when he traveled to Tokyo. He said he was attending the funeral of the country's former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in a personal capacity. But Lai's trip has raised hopes for continuing strong relations between Tokyo and Taipei. Louise Watt explains.
An emotional moment for Taiwan's Vice President, and one that is being closely watched by the country for its significance. Taiwan's Vice President William Lai visited the Tokyo home of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe on Monday to pay his respects after his assassination last week. Lai was Taiwan's most senior official to visit Japan in 5 decades, but it was billed strictly as a private trip by both Taipei and Tokyo, who don't have official relations. That didn't stop China's foreign ministry making diplomatic representations to the Japanese government.
台湾是中国的一部分，没有什么所谓的副总统。日本前首相安倍晋三突遭不幸辞世后，台湾当局借机搞政治操弄，做政治文章。
As China has increased pressure on Taiwan in recent years, some Japanese officials became more vocal in their support for the island. Abe himself was a long-time supporter of Taiwan. Even though he stepped down as Prime Minister in 2020, he was still closely involved in the ruling party and held a virtual summit with President Tsai Ing-wen earlier this year. Some observers in Taiwan see Lai's trip to attend Abe's funeral as a sign that Tokyo values Taiwan.
对日本国内的政治来说，宣示了就是他会承继安倍的政治路线，然后呢，所以呢，安倍所重视的台湾呢，他会持续加以重视。
But others point out that Lai didn't meet with any Japanese government officials during his brief trip.
如果副总可以去的话，行政院长可不可以去？行政院副院长可不可以去？外交部长可不可以去？那如果是这样的话，那这当然就是突破。如果这只不过是一个个案，然后是因为安倍的这个丧礼，在未来的一个台日的这个交流上面，我们该努力的地方还是有很多。
Abe was a popular figure among Taiwanese, believing that Japan should commit to defending Taiwan should China invade. Taipei will be hoping that his ruling party stay true to his vision of strong support for Taiwan. Chris Ma and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan has recorded its second case of monkeypox. The patient recently came back to Taiwan from the U.S. He had been ill while in the U.S. and told health authorities upon arrival here that he may have monkeypox. He was sent straight into quarantine, and authorities say there's no risk of community spread. Monkeypox is normally found in parts of Africa, but this year has seen a global outbreak. Taiwan hopes to have a supply of monkeypox vaccine before the end of August. Taiwanese children's baseball teams will fight to become world champion at 2 events in the United States this summer. But finding the money to get there is proving difficult. Stash Butler reports.
Students at Kaohsiung's Zhongzheng Elementary School train relentlessly in the tropical heat. Their school has one of the best children's baseball teams in Taiwan and even the world. In 2016 and 2018, Zhongzheng was crowned champion of the United States' prestigious Pony World Series. And this year, the team from southern Taiwan is ready to travel to Texas to compete again. But their coach says the school can't pay for them to get there.
考虑到基层教练的辛苦，因为我们每一年的补助经费也都大概都在20万而已啦。那你要去出国比赛一次都要200-300万的话，对我们是一个10年的经费，也不一定会足够啦。
Taipei's Fulin Elementary is facing the same problem. Their team won the Little League's Asia tournament, and now they're ready to fight for the world title in Pennsylvania. But they can't cover the costs. It's a sharp contrast to the 70s and 80s when Taiwan poured money into children's baseball to win international prestige. In those 2 decades, the country won the Little League World Series 12 times. But times have changed. Last year, Taiwan's Baseball Federation stopped funding children's competitions. Now, schools have to pay themselves. Fulin and Zhongzheng elementaries have had to turn to private sponsors to help them finance this year's trip. But without a permanent funding solution, Taiwan's young, world-beating batters and pitchers will face the same struggle again next year. Piper Yo and Stash Butler for TaiwanPlus.
A funeral was held for beloved Taiwanese singer Xiaoqing in the northern port city of Keelung on Wednesday. Taiwan's Minister of Culture, Li Yongde, says they will create a digital collection of Yang's unique music to preserve for future generations. Yang was famous for her niange form of singing, a traditional style that combines spoken word and folk songs that trace back to the 17th century. In 2009, she was named as one of Taiwan's national musical treasures. Invasive species are a threat to many animals around the world as they disrupt ecosystems and compete with the native wildlife. Our reporter Ken Ning looks at one example in Taiwan where the crested Myna faces a threat from overseas arrivals.
The southern branch of Taiwan's National Palace Museum in Jiayi County is known for its distinctive contemporary architecture, but its various sculptures have also become homes for unwanted guests, the Javan and common Myna. They are invasive species that are threatening the existence of the local Taiwanese crested Myna.
八哥的数量变得非常多，有急速的一个增加的现象，因为八哥的它的排泄物的量非常大，会造成我们墙面的污损，还有在通道上，我们发现会影响到游客的一个动线上的一个清洁卫生。
Non-native Myna species were first introduced into Taiwan about 45 years ago as pets. They first established themselves in rural areas, but quickly expanded into the cities. Now they are found all over the country.
我们发现到它好像对于这种人为的开垦环境里面的适应度非常之高，所以它大量在这边生长。生长的情况之下，就会让台湾的野生八哥可能为了避免跟他们竞争了，所以它有一点就退缩了。退缩到一些它也许对于白尾八哥它应用比较少的栖地。
According to a survey of local bird species, the population of Javan Myna has grown by 250% in the past 12 years, with common Myna growing by an even larger 550%. Taiwanese authorities say they have been left with no choice but to cull some of the birds.
我们就会比较着重在一些特定的区域，譬如说保护区的范围，那些小范围的族群，我们其实也会比较紧急的、立刻的可以来处理。
With little sign that the growth of common and Javan Myna populations is slowing down, the race is on to try and save Taiwan's native crested Myna before it's too late. Kama Xu and Ken Ning for TaiwanPlus.
NASA has released more images taken by the world's largest space telescope. The new images include the cosmic cliffs of the Carina Nebula, located approximately 7,600 light-years from Earth. It also offered a glimpse of a galaxy cluster called Stephan's Quintet. The images were taken by the James Webb Space Telescope. NASA says new details revealed by the telescope will help scientists better understand how stars evolve and transform their environments. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, today, we leave you with images of 2 jaguar cubs at Nicaragua's National Zoo. They were born on May 18th and are still so young that they have to stay inside out of direct sunlight. The little furballs will get their names by school children through a contest, but the names must be from 2 local indigenous languages. I'm Erika Liu. Take care and see you next time.